find the y dx given that y equals x squared plus 3x. To find the y dx, you have to make sure y is in the form of x to the power of n, then the y x will be equal to n x to the power n minus 1. So here, it's a composite function. So we've got two of them, so we have to do each one separately. The y, the x, will be equal to 2x to the power of 1, 3x to the power of 1 minus 1, and that will be 2x plus 3 to the power of x plus 3x to the power of 0. We know that anything to the power of 0 equals 1. Therefore, the y, the x, will be equal to 2x plus 3. So the y dx will be equal to 2x plus 3 times 1 because x to the power of 0 is 1. Therefore, the y dx equals 3x, 2x plus 3. First answer there. For the b part, 8x squared minus 7. That 7 is not just 7, it's actually 7. Let me just write it. So it's actually 8x squared minus 7x to the power of 0. Because x to the power of 0 is 1, that's 7 times x to the power of 0. And x to the power of 0 is 1, that's 7 times 1, that's why it's 7. So to find the dy dx, well, so x squared, n is 2, so you bring the 2 down, and then 2 minus 1. So that would be 8 times 2, that's times, x to the power of 2 minus 1, minus 7 times 0, you have to bring the 0 down, then x 0 to the power minus 1. And that will be 16x to the power of 1 minus 7 times 0. 0 times that is 0. And that gives 16x. So the y dx equals 16x. You can see if you differentiate a constant, you get 0. That's what we got here. That's 16x minus 0. And then you can say the y dx equals 16x. So that's the second part. We've got another constant here. So let's write it properly. So that's 4x squared minus 3x plus 5x to the power of 0. Remember, x to the power of 0 is 1. So to find the dy dx, that will be equal to, you bring the 2 down because the n is 2. So you bring the 2 down, that's 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. X, 2 minus 1 is just 1. Minus, this is 1 here. So 3 times 1 is 3. X, 1 minus 0, plus 5 times 0. So basically 0 times 5 will be 0, so that's just 0. And that will be equal to 8x minus 1 minus 1, sorry. So that's 1 minus 1. So that would be 3x to the power of 0 plus 0. And that would be 8x minus x to the power of 0 is 1, so that's 3 times 1. And that finally will be 8x minus 3. That's the y, the x. Right, you can see if you differentiate a constant, you get 0. If you differentiate a linear, you get constant. It's like you're going back the other way of polynomial. Polynomial is constant, linear, quadratic. If you differentiate a constant, you get back to 0, so you always reduced. If you differentiate linear, you become a constant. If you differentiate quadratic, you become linear. Here's a quadratic, and now I'm linear. Here's a linear, now I'm constant. And here's a constant, I've disappeared.